You are live. All right. How's it going, everybody out there? Hopefully everybody has had a chance to get on. Coach Jolly, I got the testing. You're in the house. Hopefully everyone out there has had the ability to get on YouTube because we are streaming live on another Middle School Monday. It is 5 o'clock out here in the Bay Area and across our great nation. Hopefully you guys are just starting to tune in. Once again, this is Middle School Mondays. My name is Matt Lasker. I host this channel, and I also run airraidwarden.com. We are going to try a couple new things starting off with this Middle School Monday group, and we'll get into why I feel like I have the time now to do this. But first of all, we're going to continue on today with some of our youth and middle school coaches on trying to build a program for you guys that are still going to have a season. But I'm also going to start introducing this as a talk show format where you guys can call in and come in here and talk with us. We can have up to 6 people on the camera at any time. So it'll be the panel and then whoever is in line next. I know Coach Jolly, as you were asking earlier, how do you get on there? Feel free to come on anytime. I'm going to put the rules of engagement in the chat right now. But anyway, welcome in. I wanted to let you guys introduce yourself, who's on the line right now. You guys all know Fasil by now if you're part of this group. But hey, Coach Fasil, how's it going?
What's going on, Coach? Doing well, man. Just trying to stay dry on the East Coast. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. I can't complain. I can't complain. We were just talking a little earlier. I'm just getting my head above water after a almost 2 week vacation, and then a week basically last week to just catch up on emails and everything else that's stockpiled. So yeah, it's been a good time. Kerry Knowles is coming on with us. He'll be in the picture in a second here. But yeah, so good, Coach. So yeah, let's just check in while everyone's kind of joining us. Adam, how's it going, man? Good to see you, Adam, in here. Thanks for joining again. Yeah, so what's new in your world? Remind us, Coach, where you live and what's the climate out there for youth sports?
Yeah, so I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and buddy, you mentioned that the climate for the youth sports right now has just kind of been up and down. So it's kind of funny. We've having like a couple of different pockets where some teams are doing 7-on-7. There's been some AAU basketball tournaments, kind of like right at the border because Charlotte's not too far from South Carolina, and their rules are a little more lenient than North Carolina. And they've just been having a ton of stuff going on right now, but it seems like everything's starting to die down. A lot of school districts are starting to talk about, their plans for next year. At least in my area, they're going to go more of like 50% students in the classroom. So it's going to be like an A/B schedule type deal. So sports is still up in the air. And, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. And, for me, I'm thinking, at least at this point, if they haven't done anything from a perspective of starting to work out and doing all those things during the summer, at least at the high school level, that leads me to believe that we're going to probably push a lot of this to the spring, which is what I'm hearing. And that's been the rumor, but it hasn't been announced yet. So we're just kind of, sitting on the edge of our seats, just waiting for it to come down, man. So I think it's inevitable at this point.
Yeah. And I think, we just in California, by we, the Bay Area just this morning announced that they're pushing it. The plan is to try to push it to winter. LA and San Diego pushed it to spring already. So, I know California is not the barometer for everyone around the country, but when a big state like that does that, I bet you that's just going to be some start of some dominoes. So we are done. Question. We're done. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I think we can step up this a little bit. I'm excited. I'm going to be begging all you guys out there. What's up, Coach C from New York? I'm going to be begging all these guys from out in play football land. If we can break down your film on these Monday shows, if we can, do whatever, get you guys on, talk about why you call what play, because I know myself, I'll be jonesing for it. I know Fasil will be jonesing for some football.
Oh yeah. I'll take anything at this point, man.
Yes, sir. And we'll be definitely having some fun with it. We got to stay positive. I think everyone here knows if you're a coach of football, there's ups and downs, there's swings. This is just part of whatever 2020 turns out to be. Is it going to be the worst year ever? Or maybe it's the best year, Fasil. Maybe it's when we kind of reset everything and everyone starts to care about causes that we should have already cared about, right? Like social injustice. Maybe we're going to reset and this group and I kind of tend to be a big thinker, but man, we could really help the youth football landscape. There's nobody out there creating new content for youth football coaches, and I think it's sorely needed. So there can be a lot of really cool things. I mean, I just spent a 12-day vacation with my family. I haven't done that ever, to be honest. So like things like that, there's some things that are some silver lining. So gosh, let's make the best of it while we're all out here.
Oh, for sure, man.
Coach Jolly, how's it going? Dial in, man. Plus, click that link and dial in. We want to get you on here and start talking some ball. Miami, Florida. We definitely want to talk to you on the air about Florida. I just drove through Mount Shasta. This is northern California, up kind of like on the border of Oregon. And I don't know if you guys have ever been out here, but it's kind of like open rural territory where not many room between houses. And we were going through what was the equivalent of like a Walmart up there. It wasn't Walmart, it's kind of like Fred Meyer. And we were wearing our masks because it's actually state law. And I mean, I'm not like a totally crazy about it, but if I'm in public, I want the person I'm walking toward to feel comfortable. But I'm wearing my mask there, and these people, I mean, they're not even hiding it. They're looking me dead in my eye, just judging the shit out of me. It's like like in California, it's like if you wear a mask, you're all the way liberal, and if you don't wear a mask, you're all the way the other way, right? So it's like, oh yeah, it's so funny. And I've heard the same about Florida. What's up, Jolly? How's it going, Coach?
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you hear me?
What's up, Coach?
Oh yeah, loud and clear, man.
This is cool, man.
Yeah, this is fun. I love it, man. This is fun. It's gonna make it more fun. I've always wanted my own radio show because no one would listen to me before. So.
At least, man. I got
just us three. It's fine with me. I'll take three.
I gotta get ready for I gotta get camera ready for school.
For sure.
Looks like we're gonna be at least half, like you were saying, 50-50. Looks like we're gonna be going. I mean, we're still waiting, but I can't see how we're gonna, all of a sudden pull the trigger in 2 weeks on school without it being some sort of
that has to be in the works. That has to be planned. Sure. So good. I love that you're on, Coach Jolly, because I have so many questions to ask you. Number one, and I'm going to say them right now out loud so I don't forget. Don't let me forget, guys, because I always get sidetracked. Number one, I want to hear about, right now what the actual rules and regulations are. But number two, I want to know you're a teacher. Is that correct? At the middle school?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty rare for us. I want to know how you feel, because honestly, like, it seemed like all the teachers were excited about going back, but when it got serious 2 weeks ago, when they released like a plan that the schools would be back in full time, our teachers started striking. So I just I'm not totally, dude. It's your livelihood, front line. Yeah. I don't have an opinion either way, to be honest, but I'd love to get your perspective as a teacher on how you feel about how safe it is to go back, just from a school perspective, not put football aside. So number one, Coach Jolly, you are in Miami. What is the temperature, not the temperature, what is the actual rules and regulations right now out there as far as playing youth football?
All right, I'm gonna kind of tell a little bit of a story, because
please,
as of right now, it's kind of like, I was talking to some parents today. It's kind of like we're under standing orders from 2.5 weeks ago, which was from the FHSAA had sent out a document saying, hey, we're going to have a season. It's going to start July 27th. We're going to extend the player box or the team boxes from the 10 to the 10. Everyone's going to have their own water bottle, no handshakes before or after the game. Coaches and refs have to wear masks. The coin toss is only going to be the head umpire, the head ref, and one captain from each side. There's all these things, and I was like, wow. Okay, I was down. I was like, hey, let's go. Whatever it takes to get us out there.
Right, we'll figure it out. Whatever.
Yeah. Then, and that was, like you said, 2.5 weeks ago, where they had started to ease back a little bit, and then things were starting to happen. Things were starting to get exciting, and then it just blew up with all this stuff down here, and we went crazy with this. It's like 3,000 a day down in Miami-Dade County, 10,000 statewide. So everything has gone way back, but there is still no official word from them. They have a meeting tomorrow, and it's got to be. I'm expecting it to be postponed or canceled or moved or whatever, because there's no way we can have there's no way they're going to let us start contact in 7 days. I don't see that happening.
No way.
But,
yeah.
but
So you guys, so the high school,
right now. So
where the high schools going right now? Are the high schools still up in the air? Or are they?
Yeah, because we are under. I coach at a school, so we're under the FHSAA. So
Right.
they're under the same thing, and
Okay.
we had people easing back, and people starting to get going, and having workouts and all sorts of stuff, and that was happening. And technically, we're still doing that now because they haven't said we can't. They haven't said we can't yet, but but I don't understand what the issue is, because everyone that I see in my neck of the woods is wearing masks. We go out there, me and the other coach are wearing our mask. We have the kids, we have 9 to a coach. We have them 6 feet apart, all that stuff. Even guys on the side of the road selling flowers, they're wearing masks. So it's somewhere else that we're having all this problem that is just causing it to become out of control. And I don't know. It's got to be like out on the beach or something like that, because you see little videos here and there. But where it's
definitely on the beach, bro.
Yeah,
they're definitely on the beach out there.
Well, I don't want to badmouth them, but you see these videos and it's like, wow, I mean, these people are going crazy. I mean, they're having a good time, but
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I just put a poll in the chat, guys. It's a Survey Monkey poll. It's free or whatever. I just wanted to gauge your interest, or I just wanted to gauge if everyone's playing or not. Please keep putting it in the chat if you guys are playing or not. I'm going to put it on the screen, but there's a little link I just put in the chat. If you click that link, it'll take you to Survey Monkey. I'd love to I'll show the poll results after everyone's taken it. But just a heads up, I put a link for a survey at the bottom. Okay, Todd, so cool. So you've answered what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Now back to my question about the pulse, because I was just telling Facil, I drove through a place in California that wasn't very California, that they seemed to like not even believe in the COVID to some degree. I've heard that about Florida, but I don't really know. That's just rumors. So people in the community are wearing masks out there in your community?
All right, so I'm down in Miami-Dade, and that is a very strange. I mean, it's like anything else. I assume any other big city, because it's dense, but further out east it's more of like a city. Out west, it's more of suburbs, and that's what I'm saying. Is like most of what I see out in public is wearing masks. People are out there, they're following the rules. But there's apparently a lot of house parties. There's a lot of boat parties. There's a lot of this going on, and that's kind of like what's causing some of the stuff to happen, because it's like they're not following the rules at that point. And then you're seeing like people they're just having a birthday party, and then the entire family comes down with stuff because one person had it, and it's like, and that it's happening at that point. So it's at that point now. As far as teaching, two and a half weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'll go. I don't care. Now it's so strange, because there's obviously something going on, but what is it? Is it, I don't know what to tell everybody, because it's like we're at a thing where it's like, we either shut it down and let's try again, or how are we going to avoid not getting it? Because it just seems like it's everywhere at this point.
I think everyone just is going to get it, and I think that's why our numbers in California have gone up. People are just getting tested now, right? Like it's not, and maybe people are getting it more, but I feel like it's just a matter of the more people get tested, the more numbers are being seen. I think, honestly, I don't know, man. I feel like everyone's just going to get it at some point.
We have
battle through it.
Yeah, like in Dade County, there's like 313,000 positive cases and 4,100 fatalities, and that's what people are kind of like. That's where people are. I think are, it's like it sucks if you're one of those 4,000 people. But a lot of I think that at least down here, from what I see, there's not a sense of like it's not a real thing anymore. That's kind of gone away. It was like that a while back, where it's like, this will disappear in November, and
Right.
we heard it all. It's the summer heat's going to kill it, this and that and the other, and then it just seems like it didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting stuff. Well, thanks for sharing, man. I mean, I don't want to get too political about it,
but
just the real world. Let's talk about it, and it's affecting all of us. Like right now, I'm out. Facil's still up in the air. You're still up in the air. Carrie, let's welcome Carrie Nolan in again, another Florida guy out there. How's it going, Carrie?
Hey guys, great to see everybody's faces. What's going on?
Terry. And what part of Florida? Remind everyone out there.
So I'm Broward County. So I'm close. I'm North Broward. Yeah. So I'm close. Actually, our league though is in Palm Beach or in Boca, but I live down in Broward. So I mean, I can echo, kind of what's been said. We live amongst the mask right now. Everybody's got the mask on. No matter where you go, you see it. I will say my kids are in camp. My son goes to a surf camp. My daughter goes to a dance, outdoor dance sort of camp, cheer camp.
12 kids?
And, what's that?
How many kids are they? Or do they have like a max amount of kids for those?
They don't. At the surf camp, they've got about 50 kids out there. I mean, and they're still rolling. Our league, as of now, it's fact. I apologize. I was a little late. I had to jump on a call with our board to talk about what we're doing. We're still moving forward as of now. We're continuing to move toward our mid-August start. Our registration's down, but we're trying to move forward with some adjustments to the way that we practice and we play and the way that we organize the field and the way we the way that we're obviously doing things is going to change a little bit, but we are planning to have a season, at least as of this hour.
Yeah, exactly. By the hour.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? And I'm sorry I'm late, Matt. Have you guys decided what you're going to do?
Yeah, let me just I'll get into that because today was D-Day and it went down. We're done. Brian Victor, and I'll get into all that in a sec. Brian Victor from New Mexico, apparently same boat as us. It's over, fall sports. Brian, are they going to try to do winter or spring? Thanks for sharing. Paul Kyle, what's up, Paul from PA? Still scheduled to start August 17th. That was our start date too, man. I was so mad. We just literally the axe dropped today. Family First Football, Houston, Texas. You guys playing out there? The thing that I kept hearing today on the Sports Talk Radio is once California went, Texas is probably soon to follow. So let me know. Oh, no, here we go. Family First. First day of padded practice schedule is August 31st. Man, go for it. Houston. So Houston, Texas, isn't that where – oh, no. Friday Night Tykes was San Antonio. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not too good with the Texas stuff. Coach C, high schools in New York can't start till September 21st. Holy cow. That's almost Thanksgiving. Holy shoot. It doesn't work then, they go to spring. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, we're talking about start.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can't even imagine them finishing, man. Them finishing in New York, it's going to be that season's going to be brutal.
Where it actually is weather out there. Holy cow! No youth sports too. Oh my gosh, dude. So the axe just dropped for us. One of the reasons I was so MIA last week was because we were going to start a camp that was twice a week, basically an air raid camp for the skill positions. Only 6 kids from JV and 6 kids from varsity, which is 7th grade and 8th grade teams. So we can teach them the air raid. And then an O-line camp with 12 kids. And I was so excited to go use all the Shane Dular stuff and really test all that out before we got to the season and I could have the drills for you guys. But literally woke up Friday morning. The day the camp was going to start was going to be 6:30 at night. Woke up Friday morning to a text. Hey, Coach, just want to let you know my kid, who's been at all of our unofficial practices that I was kind of showing you guys earlier, kid has COVID. Little brother has it. I'm showing symptoms. I'm just like, oh my God. I was already on the fence because we kind of knew, we had a sense that the season wasn't going to happen. So it's my company, Dablo Football Academy, that we're running this official camp under, which, we have good liability insurance and all that. But, if there's not a season, do I put, and really it's me and one other guy, our company, our personal assets at risk, to run a camp for if we don't even have a season. So we canceled that. I was made me all depressed for the weekend. Had to have a drink. I don't even drink really for that one. Had to pour one out for the season over the weekend. But yeah, man,
it's upsetting.
We're done. I can't believe it. Luckily, I don't have high school kids. I feel so bad for the high school kids, man, in our area. That I mean, most of them are T-birds at some point in their career in our youth division, and these high school kids. I mean,
especially
of our kids,
especially the seniors.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Just your varsity year, that matters, right? Like, fine, 5% of kids will get to play at the next level, but
you know what? I want to. When my senior year of high school, Hurricane Andrew came through and destroyed everything down here, and we still ended up having a shortened season and with all sorts of craziness going there. But they still were able to give us at least 6 or 7 games. And it was all during the day. It was like, because half the fields were destroyed and everything like that. But and it all started super late. Like it didn't start till late September. So I think if they wanted to, they could still make something happen somehow.
Yeah.
I can't see how they wouldn't. I mean, if it just doesn't improve, I guess not. But if things start to taper off somewhat, I'm sure they could do something if they figured if they tried.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you get some people in the same room and they start making rules for everybody. It's tough, man, because there's no great answer. Teachers are scared, parents are scared. We're like, the kids don't care. It doesn't affect them, but there's always that little thing in the back of your mind. It's like, we don't know what the long-term effect of this stuff is, right? Like down the road, you're like, oh, that's deteriorated because he had COVID 20 years ago. Right? Who knows? I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
Anyway, hey, so wanted to welcome Brad Thurber in. How's it going, Brad?
Good. Sorry I'm late.
You at the comedy club right now, or what? What's going on?
No, I'm in my basement.
There you go. I love it. Exposed brick. And Utah is just immune to all this, huh? You guys are rocking and rolling out there, huh?
We're pretending to be immune. I don't know. Our cases are jumping, but our football league, we start practice a week from today, and they said full speed ahead. So,
Okay, so basically, we're gonna do a Friday Night Tykes version on this channel where we're gonna stream your games live and break it down. You think?
There you go.
Let's go.
We'll break down your play calling. We'll be all over you for that. We will.
That would be awesome.
No, for sure. But no, I was talking to Facil about it. Like, honestly, if this all goes down, and even if it's 50-50, you guys are going to be our entertainment this season, and hopefully we can learn from the guys that are out there playing. You'll be more than welcome to come on and share highlights, and hopefully even deeper, maybe some series, and we can just talk about why you're doing what, and just continue the education. But yeah, so you guys, are you guys doing anything right now? You said you were going to take some time before the season started to let them chill a little bit. Has that started?
Yeah, we took July off. Like I said, we start practice Monday, which is the 27th. So we haven't really done anything official. We got some of our new guys together last week just for about an hour and a half, just kind of see what we had with some of the new guys. But our returning players, we've kind of purposely left them alone this month.
Nice. Yeah. And then, so you guys, I'm sorry, you just said it, but say it again. When do you guys actually start camp?
July 27th. A week from today is our first practice. And then we're supposed to have our first game on the 15th.
Gotcha. And you guys got any restrictions? Like, one of the things, and not to be lazy, but on Friday, I was like trying to just get everything in order that I needed. The coaches to have their mask and the spray and the hand solution, and putting little marks so the water bottles would be 6 feet apart, and so when they go get water, they stay in their little 6 foot. Like, you guys, what kind of stuff are you guys having to worry about, or maybe you're not, since you guys have such big groups already?
Yeah, it's nothing too formal. Coaches are supposed to wear masks. Kids are supposed to stay home if they have any of the symptoms. I think we will probably keep their water bottles separate just so we keep them away from each other. But beyond that, we don't have any real formal practices in place.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm not done talking Utah, but I just wanted to welcome Jason in. How's it going, Jason? Long time no talk, man.
Yeah, how you been?
Good, buddy. Remind everybody who you are and where you live, bud.
From Fayetteville, North Carolina. Coach Mac Williams Middle School football right there. So, and we got the news that we're everyone's on hold until September 7th at least. So
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's tough, man. We've been waiting like 3 weeks ago. They're like, we're going to announce it on July 20th. And everyone's like, that's so far away.
Right,
but
right.
push it back out. I'm kind of glad they if they were going to drop the axe that they did, because I'm pretty tired of like waiting, hurry up, wait, and keep putting this off. So, what do you guys? What's the sense? You guys think you're gonna get pushed to spring, or you think it might happen?
I've heard a lot of rumors. I've heard rumors as far as football gets pushed to spring, and then spring sports get pushed to summer. So
Yeah,
I'm really just
it's not even like, honestly, I stopped even trying to track it over the last week or two, just because it's like it's going to keep changing by the day. Like Brad said a second ago, by the hour.
It is.
So yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, it's a bummer, but let's make the best of it. We have a little bit more free time. Anybody got any ideas? And I want to hear from you guys out there as well. What are you guys going to be doing if you do lose the season? What are you guys going to be doing? Let's just start the question with, what are you guys going to be doing associated with your team, if you can? I don't know if you guys can run like smaller camps on the side. And let's go around if anyone has any ideas, or is it just like wait till they say we can play and then just go full bore when it's official?
I personally see it as a great opportunity. If we do get canceled, which right now looks like, fingers crossed we stay with a season, is the kids I do know that would like to do something across the fall. It's a great time to hone these drills, this drill work that we've been working on, pat and go, settle and noose, routes on air, orbit. Even I've been considering some of this O-line stuff that Dular was sharing, and doing some of that, even out of pads,
With the skill guys.
Inside hands. You can do inside hands. You can do opposite pressure. You don't have to have pads on to learn those things. And my kids want to get out. And I got 10, 12 kids that, COVID or no COVID, every Tuesday, Thursday, they're going to want to do something. And I'm going to be there for them to do that, regardless.
Yes, sir.
Coach.
We go for it.
803, they just updated it. The FHSA unanimously voted against the fall sports proposal to start Florida high school sports on July 27th. A new return to play plan will now be put together, and apparently they're currently discussing that as we speak. So at least they didn't out and out shut it down, but they said no 27th. That just came out 25 minutes ago.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think for me, Coach, I'm still want to take this as an opportunity to develop the athletes and have them that much ready if and when we do a season, in the spring. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. We just got to take advantage of the time that we have. We got 6 people that we can only use, or 10 or whatever the number is going to be. I think it's still a good chance for us to get our hands on these kids and do it in a safe way, but then also continue to just kind of help develop them at the end of the day. Especially for me in Charlotte, we typically don't get the kids into the first day of school anyway. So I think this is just extra added time for us to, work with those guys.
And Facile, don't let me forget to come back to you. I want to hear about your 7-on-7 before all this got real serious. I want to hear about. I know you guys did some cool 7-on-7 stuff, so I want to learn more about that. Okay. But let's finish this topic, because I really am interested in what everyone's going to do, and we have a plan in place I'd love to share as well. But let's go to Jason. Do you have anything that you're looking to accomplish with the kids, or can you even?
Well, I've been meeting online with the guys that are going to be coming back next year.
Awesome.
And so we've been kind of installing the offense already and going over that and showing film from last year and showing just plays that we're going to be running and drills and things like that. But the unique situation for me is the high school that I feed into contacted me over the spring and said, "Hey, we're transitioning to the air raid this year." So now they put me into their Google Classroom for their guys. So if anything does happen, I'll help these guys that are going to be going into high school, just kind of be a little bit more educated up on the offense so that their transition into high school is a little bit easier.
Totally. I love it. And are there rules, and I wanted to ask you this, Facile, as well, are there rules against practice time, official school practice time outside of the granted typical practices? Like, if you were to meet, let's just say this weekend, would it have to be under a different umbrella, or could you do it under your school's umbrella?
Yeah, it would have to be under a different umbrella because as of right now, they're not really allowing for, anybody at North Carolina level to do anything at this point. So, I have a football training company, so, we do a lot of stuff there. I train kids outside of our school too as well. So,
Nice.
that's just an opportunity for us to just kind of take advantage of some of that stuff. But I think once they make the decision, from there, they probably will have some of those, the rigor behind, like, hey, you can do this, but you can't do that, and this is how many kids you can have and all that stuff. I'll be interested to see how they'll let you allow to do workouts and stuff. That's going to be more so off season now, in the fall. This we're going to go to spring. So,
yeah. What about you, Jace?
Well, when I started the Google Classroom thing, I came up with that idea. And I contacted my AD. He says you can do something online. You can't meet with them in person, but you can do something online as long as you do not make it mandatory. So it's got to be all voluntary. Yeah, I'm a teacher. Yep.
You're a teacher there.
Yep.
And I asked Jolly this earlier before you came in, and if it's too personal, just tell me to shut up, please. But I'm curious. I have a lot of teacher friends. I'm an English lit major. I was going to be a teacher until I realized I'm just not patient enough for it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel about going back? Are you feeling like, put football aside, as a teacher, are you feeling like it's safe to return to school if they were like, okay, school starts, 2 weeks?
With me, it's the way our governor put it. He gave us the option of you can do half in person or half remote, and then it gives the school districts the option of whether they can choose to go fully remote or continue the half person in person and then half on remote. The way I see it, you either open the schools 100% or you don't, because this half and half is going to cause a little bit more problems than we're really ready for. And on top of that, just the amount of time it takes to prepare for something like this, with 3 weeks, we're supposed to have kids in less than a month. Yep. So it's just, it's going to be harder, and it's going to create more problems, in my opinion. So it's either you go 100% or you don't go at all until things start quieting down a little bit.
Totally. Interesting. Okay, cool. I'm just looking at the survey results. Hey, real quick, as we're kind of breaking in, Kevin Finley, how's it going, Kevin? Baton Rouge, looks like it's still up in the air till after Labor Day. Wow, holy cow! Thanks for posting us on that. Dante, he is actually in my league out here in NorCal. So we have our league meeting technically tomorrow night. I'll be listening in on that. I get to have that privy as the athletic director for our league or for our organization, but it's a pretty foregone conclusion. We're going to follow the high school with that. So Dante, great to see you on here. We're still working hard. So what our plan is right now is not through the organization, but through I have a Diablo Football Academy that we do. It's on non-contact off-season conditioning and strength and conditioning and football skills, because there's there's rules against teams, as a team getting together throughout the off season. So what we've decided is to create basically pods of 12 kids, and we're thinking of 6 initially, but maybe 12, and just offering them 2 days of skill work, or 1 day is the skill positions work. And this is everyone now. Now we can open it up. We don't have to break any hearts with this, right? linemen can pretend being tight ends or whatever, and just have them stick together and do 2 days of football training, 1 day skills, 1 day O-line blocking, 1 day of strength and conditioning, and 1 day of speed training. Just making it just something where they're sticking with these same kids, because that's what we keep hearing out here in California. They're going to really push kids to just find a tight-knit group. Hopefully, they can go to school together if they need to. They can go to sports together. I think we're a little bit lucky with the timing that it's happening during football season, so we have those parents' attention already. So we can kind of form these pods, if you will. But yeah, I think it's a great advantage, and if we look at it the right way, we could really actually teach way more. We just don't have time to teach receivers to block like an O lineman. But I think that's great. They should all be doing that if you have the time. I was so excited to get Shane Dular's stuff going this last week at our camp that we had to cancel. But yeah, man. Well, it's great to hear everyone kind of talking about what's going on in their world. You guys on the line out there, please do let us know how you guys are feeling about everything, what's going on there. Now, there was one question from when we had this panel before about youth football that kept coming up, and I tried to answer it with my follow-up call with Shane Dular about the O-line. But the overarching question is, do you guys have a practice that's all offense one day and then all defense the next day? Or do you guys go offense, defense, and try to get each in an hour? I've never had to deal with that. I wanted to bring it to the panel here and then let people come on the show as well to talk about their experience, because it seems to be very different for all of us. I have no idea how you would get an air raid practice in or just any offensive practice in. And maybe that's just my offensive mindedness and single-mindedness taking over, but I have no idea how you would squeeze it into an hour and get everything you need out of it if we only have 3 practices a day or a week during the season. And I just don't know how you would do it.
Matt, do you mind if I just tag something on the end of that? I'm also curious if it's just me, or does it take longer to prepare an offense than it just seems to take me a lot more time to get my offense ready for Saturday than my defense. Does everyone find that?
Okay. Absolutely. No question. Yeah.
It just does, right? It's not just because I love offense, right?
No, you're not alone.
You didn't know. It's all execution. I mean, it truly is all execution.
We have gone offense and defense on different days. We can practice 5 days a week, so that was never an issue. But what I have settled on, I took over this year as head coach. What a first year. And I had worked it all out so that we would do 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's say offensive focus, where it would be 110 minutes offense, 40 minutes defense, and then a 10-minute, like you were saying, the bandit drill. We'd end with that 10 minutes of perfect plays. Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, flip it. So it would be 110 minutes of defense with a couple extra things with defensive focus, and then 40 minutes of offense, where essentially we would drop like some of the one-on-one stuff, only do settle news, pat and go, and then our routes on air and things like that, like kind of like review what we had done the day before. So we want to do the one-on-ones the second day where we just review, and it was working. We did it for 2 weeks at the very beginning when they let us, and then now we had to pull it back, but it worked. But we weren't in pads and everything like that. So I mean, but that's I can't imagine. I'm like opposite of you. I can't imagine like not having both on the same day. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I think you're just used to whatever you're used to, right? Let's jiggle around the horn. Just what do you guys do? Combine or split?
Me personally, the way I start out with, we have to have 5 days of tryouts. And then once the team is set, then it's immediately into offensive installation. And that takes about 3 or 4 days, and that's basically just mainly offense driven, and then defense. And then once we start getting in.
So sorry, just to understand, once you start, you're going. My first 3 days is offense, bang, offense, offense.
Yep.
I
got to get that. I got to get that started right away because it takes a little bit longer. Like Coach said, it's just a little bit more involved. Then we'll give one full day to the defense to get everything in, the base stuff installed. And then so once we start getting in season, we play on Thursday. So the way I would set up is usually a Monday is an offensive day. Tuesday is a defensive day. But if defense doesn't need the entire practice, I'll have stuff set up that if we can go to offense, there'll be offensive stuff ready to go. And then Wednesday split up because that's like our walkthrough day before game day.
Love it. Okay, cool. That's great. And that's a different variation that I have ever heard. So that's cool, man. I love it.
It is.
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we practice 3 days a week, 2 hours per practice during the season. We're real heavy offense, really until week one. Like last year, my defensive coordinator got pretty frustrated because we had spent like 90% of the time on the offense before week one. And he and we actually pitched a shutout the first game, and he's like, "Imagine what we could do if I actually had practice."
Oh, geez, here we go. There's always that guy. Like,
Right?
come on, bro.
That means you don't need any more. It means you're
Yeah.
fine.
Take the
Probably get
credit
away
that
with
you're
less.
that you're in a monster DC, a DC that doesn't even need practice. You're that good, buddy.
Yeah. So, but once we get into the season and we've kind of got our installation in, we split because we have 2 hours. And honestly, for 9 and 10-year-olds, their attention spans are short enough that I like it better that they get time on both sides of the ball. I don't know that we could do 90 minutes or so of just offense, for a full practice. So we try and split it equally. By the time you do warm-ups, we do some form of blocking or tackling every day. And then we try and do some sort of team every day. So we have about an hour and 20 minutes or so of actual, like, where we're either putting in offense or defense, and we generally split that up about half and half. So
Wow, cool. What about you, Kerry?
Well, I'm changing it up this year. We're going to continue to split, which we did last year. We did offense, defense, but the problem was because I wasn't very regimented about my schedule, my practice schedule, is defense would get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and then we'd end up, it's 10 minutes left in practice. My DC's like, you kidding me? Like, I don't know what you're killing me. So this year I promised him that I would put in a schedule. And Matt, thank you. You actually shared your template for how you build your practice schedule. So I think the only change this year, we are going to continue to split offense, defense, special teams. We will spend more of our time on offense than defense, and obviously more on both of those than special teams. But it's going to be more regimented. And I've even kicked around the idea of bringing a clock out to the field.
For sure.
That actually keeps me honest. We'd be kicking the idea around. They're actually not cheap. I thought, we'll get like a clock out of the field. They're actually it's like $900.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to figure some way out to where I can really become very regimented. And the more I read about great coaches, the more I find that they are incredibly regimented about their practice timing and getting in and out of things in the exact same amount of time every day. I think it's something that's the change I'm going to make this year. But more directly to your point, I'm going to continue to combine and spend more time on offense.
Yeah, I always find that one coach that like is super helpful. He's not like the X's and O's guy, right? But he's always like trying to help out and grab bags for you or set up in between practice, in between periods instead of bullshitting with the rest of the coaches. And I literally give him my freaking schedule and say, hey, will you blow the dang whistle or the horn every single time a session's supposed to break? So we stay on track. But yeah, I mean, the clock's a good idea. I dropped money on the clock. It actually was a little bit harder because it's not, well, ours at least didn't have like a buzzer or something. So it was just like, oh, cool. I'll look over there and it's just reaffirming that I'm 10 minutes over.
Right.
Thanks for reaffirming that. So guys, I put another survey. I don't know if you saw that or if I already said this, but there's another survey. Do you split defensive and offensive practice days or do you combine them? I really want to know. Please, please, please take that survey. Just kick you out the survey monkey. I'm going to share the results with everybody. But you guys that do combine practices, would you guys be willing, if you are willing to share your practice plans? I have never created one that had to combine the two. I would love to sit here and go through like how the heck you get through the standard, pat and go, routes on air, settle a noose, and all the drills that we do in an hour a day, or maybe you split them up. But if you guys would be willing to share it for everybody, I know they'd appreciate it if you just drop it. Maybe anybody out there, I'm not just talking to the panel up here. If you drop it in my file sharing tab on the website and just label it like combined practice example or something, I know a lot of people would love to see it. I hate to speak on things that I've not done myself and pretend like I know. So for you guys that know that routine and feel like you have a pretty solid system in place, please do share it with the group because I continue to get questions on that. Todd, I realized that you dialed in to be a caller, and I didn't even ask you if you actually had a question, or you just wanted to kick it and talk. Did you actually have a question?
You'd ask me, yeah. I just wanted to say, real quick, man, exactly what I was going to say, but the spirit of what I was going to say is that in the short amount of time that we had these guys, and going on from before when we were doing the Zoom meetings, like when we were in total lockdown, and I was trying to get these, and we were getting these guys, you could see these kids getting excited just from talking about what we were talking about. And then when we started the first couple of weeks of doing selling news, pat and go, all this stuff, and then the dynamic stretching, I said, we're not going to do any of this, stretching and all that stuff that, because I'd done a thing like that. I talked to a whole bunch of people about that, and everyone's like, yeah, no, we just do regular stuff. That's like antiquated stuff, and the feedback that I got from these kids was incredible. Like the dads would come up to me and say, hey, my son was saying, it's like, it's so much better than last year. Last year they were doing bear crawls and during the summer. And I'm like, there's a point to that where I was like, I remember doing that, but I can't remember who was it that said it at one of these things over the summer, or not during the summer, but during the COVID thing, where it was like, a lot of us just do stuff because that's what we did. And that's really what we did in years past, where it's just like, yeah, that's going to make them tough. And it's like, not really. But, all of a sudden these kids bought in, and the excitement that has been generated, these guys loved it. Like someone had said on one of the messages, like, these kids want to come out, and they're dying to come out. And they come out in droves every day, 3 days a week that we were doing it. They would come out and we would do this stuff, and they loved it. So I just wanted to hype you guys up. I've been taking little things from everybody. My coach Mike's that selling news thing that he does, where he hits them while they're moving.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. We did that, and it's like, you don't have to do any conditioning, because we kind of do it too fast, but I like the pace that they do it, because they're getting it conditions them at the same time. And let me tell you something. We blow the whistle. It's been 5 minutes. No, come on, coach. Couple more, coach. And they sometimes we have to force them to stop. So all this stuff, any naysayers that are still out there, there's people are still kind of not believing it. But just wanted to thank you guys for putting all that stuff out there.
I want to chime in on that. That's exactly what we did this year. Last year's conditioning camps, we do July conditioning camps, where the kids are happy because they're seeing their buddies and they're with their coaches, and it's kind of feels like football a little bit, but they didn't love it. It was kind of like at the end, they're just tired and they're kind of like, eh. This year, what we did was we broke them into two groups. So one group would go with my other coach, and he would do pure conditioning. So ladder drills, sprints, etc., getting the kids, just trying to get them in shape. And I'd have a set of kids I would do settle and noose first, then I did pat and go, and then I did an orbit one week, and then the other week I traded out and do routes on air. The kids were freaking loving it. They were loving it. They were like, coach, this is amazing. It's so fun, because they're getting their conditioning, and then they're coming over and they're playing. And to your point, Matt, you're not breaking any hearts. You got some of these old linemen that never really get to do that stuff. And they're like, man, this is cool. They were digging it. I agree. It's been so helpful to me. This whole community has been incredibly helpful for all my kids. Yeah, in that way. Yeah.
So that was what I wanted to say, man. I just wanted to thank you guys and come on there. And Facile, your stuff I've been watching, and then everybody's stuff is like, it's like, this is incredible that this is out there, and you guys, it's a shame that we're going through this, but if I'm gonna tell you right now, like, my kids, if they let us go back to just, hey, we're just gonna throw the ball around, we won't do it, so they'll also have kids that'll come out for that, because it's fun. They do it off after school anyway. Yeah, we had parents watching it like it was a game. And we had people in the stands watching, just videoing it. It's like it looked exciting. It was like, I've never seen that in 5 years of middle school football.
Right.
It's like, get out of the car, I'll pick you up in a little bit. Now we got parents watching. I don't know. It was amazing, and I was like, I would watch all you guys' stuff, and I was like, this is really cool stuff. And it's in the limited time that we had, the kids had a blast, and it was such a different attitude. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and that was the biggest thing that I knew I was onto something was just in camp in the first 2 weeks. Our camps used to look like 1981 football, and not anything wrong with that, but like that's what they look like. And
Yep.
after 2 weeks, the parents were like, "What is this? And what is this? Like, it looks like a high school or college practice." I'm like, "Well, that's where I stole it from, but these kids can handle it, right?" Like,
Oh yeah.
and that was the biggest thing to me was like just the shock and awe that the parents were like, "What are you doing out here? This is like flag, but with pads." I'm like,
Yep.
"Dude, this is what they should be doing. They can handle it. Watch them. They're doing fine." But yeah, I appreciate that, Todd, and I appreciate all of your excitement about this channel, this group. We definitely appreciate it, man, and you're always a big part of all the conversation. So please continue to do so. There's a bunch of people hitting me up on the side that we got to clear the.
I'll drop out.
But no, man, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to talking to you soon. And please keep us posted on the Miami climate out there as it kind of progresses, man. Okay.
Sure, man. Do you kick me out? I don't
know. Do I get to? Maybe I can do something to you on the way out here. Let's see. Oh, no. All right, cool. Thanks, Coach. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, thanks, guys. Dude, I know a lot of people feel the same way as Todd, and all I can say is like this is our channel. This is our group. I'm glad that there's some value being found from it. I was talking to Fasil. One of the things that I'm going to try to do is since I do have an off season, is make this group a little bit even bigger, and maybe with your guys' help, we can make a more modern youth football website that's not out there. There's no modern youth football with like, if we can create this template as air raid, we got the drills all now, we got the plays now, and then now Fasil's going to put out his version of it, and Kerry and Brad and Jason will be able to put out their versions of it, and we'll just house it in a modern football website. And I want to invite on Wing T guys to do it as well, all that stuff. But like, have a true modern youth football website where people can get 2020 drills, not 1981 drills.
Happy to help.
Absolutely. Let me know what you need.
Awesome.
All over, Coach. Love it.
It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so they are asked. Someone from the group is asking to poll you guys. But before we do that, I wanted to just acknowledge Adam writing this. He does D all one day, O all one day, and the third day is usually O. That's kind of what we do. The third day for us is all three. With I guess the defense really isn't that much. We line them up, but it's offense.
Coach Matt, expand on that. What do you think the advantages are to concentration in that way? Because we're all talking about combining. What do you think you get out of doing separate?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I want the whole day, and I need that whole day to go through all the drills I want for offense.
So it's more time.
Yeah,
based.
It's more time and just focus. I guess I haven't really seen what happens with my kids when we split it, but in my mind, I know I'm very singular minded. I'm all in with whatever it is that I'm doing that day or that moment. So I feel like if we can just have everyone focus that day on offense, let's do it before practice for like offensive day. That means we're here to execute and be extremely focused. So lock it in on your jog around the whatever it is, your jog. Come back and let's get ready to rock. Ready to go.
So I can assume your coaches wear different hats then, right? So your offensive line coach is also your defensive coordinator or something, right? Exactly. It has to be if you're doing it that way, right?
Exactly. And then the defensive day, same thing. Hey, defensive days, strap it up. We're doing Millennial Oklahoma. Get ready to rock and bring your hard hat today, right? So it's just mentality-wise, that's just how I've always done it. But I'd love to hear from you guys what the advantage the other way is, and that is what this question from Mark. Thank you, Mark. Why don't we go around the horn? What do you prefer? And then tell me what the advantage of what you prefer is, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I think for me, I actually prefer for it to be just completely focused on offense or completely focused on defense for that day. With that being said, what we did this year actually worked out pretty well. We would do offense and defense Monday, Tuesday. We typically did our games on either Wednesdays or Thursdays. So depending on the week, sometimes we would split that Tuesday up into D-Day, and we'll have the ones go on offense and the twos go on defense, and then we'll flip flop. So that was another way that we kind of, just started working it through. I'm fortunate enough, I got enough coaches where we have a defensive staff, we have an offensive staff. We can do a lot of the individual work. Then you can, jump that straight in the team, and then we can just start doing some scrimmaging and things of that sort. But that felt like that was the compromise, because even all of my defensive coaches, they know that we hang our hat on offense, and that's just what we're going to do. So we're going to probably devote most of our energy into making sure that the offense is where it needs to be. Defense, I mean, for me, you just really you keep everything as basic as possible. You line them up, and then all they do is react to the ball. So I'm not going to say all they do, but I think it's just a lot more complexity and nuances with offense that takes more time. And my defensive coaches, they understand that, and they believe in it too as well. So they've always had our support with that. And then one thing that Coach Jolly mentioned too, the one thing that I've done to start sneaking in time, we don't do the high knees butt kickers anymore. What we do, we jump straight into offensive individuals as soon as we get out there. We bring everybody to the middle. We talk about what we're going to do for the day. We break them up. And then at that point, then everybody goes to indies, and that's how they warm up. Because quite honestly, wide receiver is going to warm up a little differently than, the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman and things of that sort. So we just wanted to make sure we're doing like dynamic stretches during that time, but also like for wide receivers, they're catching balls while they're stretching, and they're just kind of moving and getting warmed up in that way. And that's been something for us that we have bought and stole 20 minutes from the practice, just doing all of that stuff. And, if you think about it throughout the week, 20 minutes adds up, 2-3 days a week over the course of a season. You start getting that back, and then now you can just kind of devote that to other areas.
Bro, the O-line coach that I kept from the year before last year, the first week of camp, they did 35 minutes of freaking warm-ups. I almost lost my shit multiple times. I'm like, dude, he's like, no, it'll get better. They'll get better at it. They'll go quicker. I'm like, you cannot just stand up and do this and call that a warm-up. Stop doing that. This is not.
That's called trying to perfect warm-ups, and there is no positive outcome to that. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to break in. Thanks, Vasil. Like, Kerry, what do you prefer and why? And
I haven't decided yet. I mean, I like all these opinions. I could see the advantage to both. I mean, every program is going to have different constraints based on what coaches they have, how many players they have. I myself, I'm in a small league, where I only have 18, 19, maybe 20 kids on my roster, so that changes things. I only have 3 coaches. There's me and two part-time coaches. Sometimes it's just me out there. So, for that reason, it's tough. It's like sometimes I got to do both because I don't have the people or the resources.
Right.
I got to be able to change direction quick. So, but I'm listening and learning right now. I could see the advantage to both. I love to focus. I'm the type where if like I have a hard time changing. Like if I'm thinking offense, it's hard for me to change gears and think. And I got to kind of be the leader on both sides of the ball. So I don't know. I will say this, Matt. I went through kind of the things I want to do on an offensive day. Like say, okay, on an offensive day, or not an offensive, just any day, this is the stuff I want to do on offense to feel comfortable with what I'm putting in.
Yeah.
And it can't be less than an hour and 15. I can't figure out how to do it in less than an hour and 15.
Exactly.
And I'm a 2-hour practice. So it's like with 45 minutes left, you're already it's hard to decide. Am I going to use that last 45 to do maybe tackling because I want to be a good tackling team? Maybe I just tackle and I do special teams the rest, and maybe come back the next day and do the opposite, defense and then maybe special teams tackling. So I'm still kicking it around.
Yeah, and that's a unique situation, man. 3 coaches and really only you guaranteed to be there. I mean, that's pretty unique where you're just going to have to, like, if you want to do a drill but you can't do routes on air because you don't have enough coaches to fill in for the extra quarterback slots, and you just don't have the right coaches for the drills you want to do, then you got to pivot to something that you have enough resources for. So again, the beauty and art and the nuance of youth football, it is different, man. It just really is. It's a different type of person. I keep saying it, and 90% of us are just volunteers. You got some cool, lucky folks here that are lucky to be enough teachers, but it's just, you get what you get and you make it work. So thank you for continuing to do that, Kerry. And thanks for kind of, being open to talk about it, because I know a lot of people, want them. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there right now in the same situation as you. So we need to learn how to operate in all scenarios when it's just you with 20 kids, right? Like, how do I make that work? So thank you for sharing that. Jason, what do you prefer? Do you
Well,
know?
I'm kind of with the other coach a little bit. I like the that split up the not split up, but focus on offense one day, have defense the other day because, like the coaches have said, you got to give the kids a main focus for that particular day. And luckily, also, I've been blessed to have defensive coaches that teach a pretty basic but aggressive style of defense. So it doesn't require much teaching outside of just a few little assignments here and there. So even during the defensive days, there is still a 45-minute block where I'll have opportunities to be working on the offense too. So I'm actually kind of a little lucky. I get that Monday and part of Tuesday's practice to do work on offense as well as the split day for a walkthrough day on Wednesday. So, but again, if I was to focus it and just have it, one offensive day, one defensive day, and then group it up right before a game day. And then typically sometimes we would have practices on Friday after the games. It would just depend on how the earlier portion of the week of practice went, if we would have a practice on a Friday or not. But I like to break it up as far as offense and defense myself too as well. So just gives the kids more of a focus on that particular day.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I prefer to split. Just like I said, for us, we're dealing with 9 and 10-year-olds, and I like the attention span. I think the law of diminishing returns, once you get past 30 minutes on one side of the ball or the other for my little guys is real. So we like to split it better. I will say this though, it's not 50-50 offense defense. If we've got, an hour and a half of kind of workable time, it's probably closer to an hour offense and 30 minutes defense. We're not split equally, and my coaches understand that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. And then I think I know the answer to this, but let's go around the horn one more time just to reinforce it. I'll start off. We started last year doing typical dynamic and static stretches that took time, wasted time. We quickly changed that to we do settle noose and pat and go. I put that video out. That's literally how we start our practices now, and we're going to continue to do that. So we do 0 dynamic or static. What do you guys are you guys still doing some dynamics, or are you guys pretty much all out of that now?
And for me, each year has gotten drastically shorter as far as the stretching is concerned. So now this year, if we have a season, I'm going to be kind of adopting your thought process, going into the offensive drills and using that as the warm up, because that's a great idea I never really thought of now until this year.
Yeah, Fasil, the way he does it with Indy, that's what Shane Dular does. They just go right into Indy. And I think
it's a great idea.
I mean, think about it. You just lopped off the first 20 to 30 minutes of practice, and you're starting with a purpose. I love that. Carrie, are you guys planning on?
I don't believe in stretching. I just don't. I myself don't stretch. I'm a runner. I don't subscribe to the fact that it reduces injury. I think there's some science out there that do prove that it reduces some performance, but at very high levels. Like you're talking people that are like, world-class athletes.
Split seconds.
I think it's just eating up time, man. And time is the ultimate enemy for us. Mm-hmm. But what I do think is I think it's important to get the big boys, especially moving around, especially getting low, bending their knees. So I do believe in doing some sort of initial activity that gets your on-ball players sweating, get them warm, get their muscles going, and get the big boys bending down and crouching a little bit. And I know this year I love what Dular does with the ladder because that fits my kind of my philosophy perfectly. If you do the ladder the right way, get them bending in the right ways, getting in their stance, getting in and out of their stances, they're going to break a sweat and they're going to get their muscles going and they're going to start stretching a little bit. And if you run settle and noose, or I do line drills, it's the same thing. It's running, moving side to side, tachyo. I mean, it's Miami. If you ever done Miami Hurricane line style drills, same stuff. But it's stretching. I know that's taboo for a lot of people to say. I don't believe it. I just don't believe in it.
Yeah, I've never done any lines with the Miami Hurricanes, but I've heard they do.
Oh yeah, it's just like let's just line them up and doing certain types of movements out of the line. It's basic warm ups. Yeah.
Sorry, Brad got that. Sorry, my bad. It's too good not to take that one.
I missed it, obviously.
All right, yeah, I'm just messing with you. Brad, I don't know if we've ever talked about warm ups with you guys out there. Have we talked about that?
The only exception to that, my very first year coaching, when they were basically 7 and 8 year olds, we did do stretching, and frankly, it was all about mental focus. It had nothing to do with stretching them. It was get everyone in a group, count 1, 2, 3, clap. Reps of 8 for 10 minutes, so that they were ready to go when we. After that, we haven't done any stretching. We do footwork and agilities. We'll do wave drill, stuff like that to get them going, but that's about it.
And I love this question from Jeff Hill because it just sent me. I just remembered right now that the night that we were on Friday, instead of doing our camp that we canceled, I took all the coaches out to get drinks and kind of pour one out to the season. I just remembered because of Jeff's question that we had a coach. We were joking about stretching, and I made one of the coaches get down on all fours. Remember back in the day when we used to put our head against their knee and like push against their knee and try to stretch it out, and then go around and push your head against it and like stretch it out. But to your point, how do you warm up your neck? You guys even, I don't know. I haven't thought about that for a couple of years, to be honest. But I mean, do you guys think about that at all, or?
You need your neck for any movement you make. I mean, again, my thing, if you're making football moves in your first drill of the day, you're warming up your body. You can't catch a ball without your neck. You can't run a ladder without your neck. I mean, you know what I mean? I know. Listen, I've got into philosophical fights about this with one of my best friends who coaches a totally different way. It's I get it. It's hard to argue with someone who's like stretching's the right thing to do. I mean, in a lot of cases, that's probably true. Just I think I can spend the time doing stuff that's going to get the kids better prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To be fair, when I was letting them do that 35-minute warm-ups, they were getting on all hands, on all fours, and like rolling their necks like this, and whatever. I don't think it's going to hurt for sure, but like you said, time is everything, and with these pretty relatively short practices and short amount of time we have, only 3 days a week with these kids, probably not going to focus on that too much. Todd Jolly throwing up the Hurricane. Let's leave that away. That those documentaries pretty much said it all as far as the Hurricane. And I love those, man. Those documentaries are the best.
Third leg, Greg.
Oh man, that and the UNLV one was dope. The final, the Fab Five Michigan documentary. Did you see that? That was amazing. That was my era. I don't know, how old are you? I'm 41 right now. So that was like when I was growing up. UNLV. I went to UNR, but UNLV running Rebels, man, that was
100%.
Oh yeah, the best. Like Duke versus Michigan, good versus evil. Supposedly, in the media, that's the way they're trying to make it all. Oh man, that was a great era of just sports in general. Are you guys baseball fans?
Yeah, not really.
No
not
baseball,
really
no.
Nah.
0 for 4 on the baseball fans up there.
I'm a big Rays fan. Grew up in Tampa. I love my Rays.
Yeah, well, you see my hair, Todd Jolly. I got my Jose Canseco, Kevin Mitchell kind of half mullet going on right now. I just need the lines right here. I was in Oregon, so I had to try to blend in. I just need the lines right here, and we'd be back in the 80s for sure. Okay, someone's actually asking a real question again. Jeff, yeah, I think dynamic stretching, if you're going to do it, that's the way to go, right? Just get on there, do some lunges, if you need to, warm up the calves and just, do some, the quickest way that we do it is like 5-10 yards of lunges and then jog for 10, turn around, group comes back and does something else. I mean, it's not going to hurt. NFL teams do it. You still see them out there doing that exact same thing that I'm describing. So it's not going to hurt. If you guys have the time, then, it's always, better safe than sorry, right? If so you don't have anything to worry about. But
Hey, I've got a question for you guys that I'm struggling with a little bit. How do you handle tryouts? And when I say that, I mean specifically,
That's a good one.
helping a kid that isn't going to be quite the right player to play in one of these skill positions, move him to the offensive line, for instance.
It's a great topic.
Even specifically, how do you handle that kid? Let me ask it in two parts. How do you handle the drills and the actual tryout process to make sure that it's fair and kind of almost opens that kid's eyes to where they need to be? And then number two, how do you treat those kids that that's not really what they hoped for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great topic, and I love that you brought that up because it's every coach, even in our program, does it different. And I'll start because I think it's a cool topic, but I'm super interested to kick back and listen to everybody else. So the way I've done it is I will slot kids where I think they're going to be. But if they say they want to try out, if I put somebody at line, they say they want to try out for a wide receiver, and I tell them they can. We're going to put you where we think that we can find value, since we know most of you. If you think you want to play a different position, try out for the first week. So the first week of camp for us, I'm actually starting install day one of offense and running through settle and noose and routes on air and everything. And we'll just mix those kids into the positions that they think they're going to be okay at. We have enough linemen to where we can still run realistically a lineman practice with them. But It's basically conditioning week. But these kids are seeing when they're running against the other tight end that's actually the tight end, they're pretty quickly seeing that it's not going to work out, right? Okay. So we let them, if they want to try out for certain positions, but we say, hey, try out, go for it. At some point during that week, we might pull you to the side and talk to you. It might be at the end of the week, but we're going to be honest with you, and we have no problem with you trying out. If you think you could add value there, go for it. We're going to be super honest, and we're going to talk to you about what's best for the team at some point. And if you make it, great. And if you don't, you don't. But that's how I've done it. I know one of my other coaches that has been a part of this program for 15 years literally lets everyone, day one, you go to the position you want to go to, and they spend the whole week trying to freaking filter it out. I don't have time for that. But
how many of your kids run over to the line, the offensive line? Do you have kids that are like, all right, that's where I'm at?
Yeah, we typically have rosters of 40 here at the middle school level for 7th grade and 8th grade. So, yeah, there's definitely kids that know their linemen. And if they've played in the program, like most of them have, by that point, they kind of know where they're adding value because they've been put there year after year. It's the kids that are coming out for the first time, and that's a huge trend here. We had 2 8th grade teams last year because we had so many first-year players just wanting to hit 1 year before high school, that we were, those are the kids that are like, oh, I'm Odell Beckham. You're like, you're more like.
You're built like Vita Vea.
Yeah, you are Newman from Seinfeld, bro. Like, you want to take stats for us? Or, I'm just kidding. But anyway, that's mine. I don't want to bogart the whole time. Facile, how do you guys decide? I mean, you guys sound like you're very cut and dry. I don't see these kids till day one of camp. So how do you guys?
Yeah, so we have we have trials for 3 days. So typically what we do on that first day, I like to do measurable drills where, we'll do a line drill, we'll do a 40, we might have a couple medicine balls where they'll just run and come back to, around cones. So I can at least have that hard data because we always get the parents that come up to us after trials asking, okay, why didn't my son make the team? Or what was the reason, blah, blah, blah. And we have some supporting facts that kind of show them, hey, he was in the, the bottom 10% of 40s and he tried out at wide receiver. So, typically that doesn't mesh well. That, for the most part, usually shuts the parents up pretty quickly. But something else that we do too, like I'll tell, kids like, hey, throughout trials, what we'll typically do, we might ask you to go try out at somewhere else. If I ask you to go try out somewhere else, that means that might be your best chance to make this team. And I've had a lot of kids, like I had an undersized kid last year. He was maybe 140 pounds, but he was one of my best tackles because he just had good feet. He understands run fits and head position and shoulder position.
and he was just nasty. He was just a strong kid, and he just wanted to play, but he couldn't catch. He wanted to play wide receiver, and it just didn't work out. So we generally do the measurable drills on the first day, try to condition them, and then second day, typically what I'll focus on the kids that's kind of on the cut line and do 7-on-7s with them. Most of the linemen, for the most part, I'll typically try to keep. I can never have too many linemen, and typically for us, the kids are getting smaller and smaller every year, so we don't really have a ton of linemen that comes out anyway. So we'll focus the second day, do 7-on-7, and then at the next day, let them compete a little bit more. We might do some fun stuff like maybe tug of war, or just stuff where they're competing against each other, just to kind of see if if one person wants to make the team more so than the other. So that's mostly the stuff that we do. We just
you're cutting kids.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a motivation right there. That's a different dynamic right there.
See, I'm everybody plays. I'm
That's right.
strict youth. I'm youth in the youth dungeon where everybody got to play.
Yeah. So coach, for you're typically just trying to figure out where kids are going to play versus if they're going to make the team or not. Got it.
I'm in some cases I'm looking to put them somewhere where they're not going to quit.
That's fair. Now, do you guys have play requirements, like they have to play like 7 or 10 plays?
We don't. Thankfully, I don't have that. But generally, you try to make sure every kid plays half the game at some position, whether that's offense or defense.
Oh, good for you. We have 10. Our rule is 10 plays a game. They've got to play. And I told you a little bit about this, Matt, but last year we had 9 kids. Last year they were 3rd and 4th grade. 9 third graders, 9 4th graders. So this year we split the team. So we have a 5th grade team and a 4th grade team, but our 5th grade team has 16 kids and our 4th grade team has 14. So we are running really lean. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Our 4th grade team, we have awesome skill guys, but we've got like 3 real linemen, and then we're gonna have to fill that gap, find 2 other kids that can block.
So how? Yeah, like what's your strategy there? Like I guess that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
Right. We don't have to worry about who's going to make the team and who's not. We're trying to figure out what 80-pounder, I mean literally 80-pounder can play a pulling guard or something like that.
Right.
Our 3 linemen will be center tackle, and we'll fill in the gaps with little guys and just try and find somebody that's mean enough and that can do it.
Do you ever try to take one of these kids that is going to play line most of the year and let them play a little bit out at Y or F or Z or Y, like give them, or does that just create too many problems where the other linemen are asking about it? Like, can you go with a kid that do both? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Our problem is we have too many of those little guys anyway, especially this year. And so we're more likely to go the other way. What Y or F can fill in and play some guard here and there. Mm-hmm. Those linemen, while they might not get touches, they're going to play the whole game, both sides of the ball. So,
okay. So do you reward them with playing time on defense?
Absolutely, yeah. That's
okay.
The biggest
Talk about that.
Yeah, for our offensive line guys, and I maybe got off topic here a little bit, but our offensive line guys, everybody loves playing defense, right? If you're a big guy, your best chance at getting some glory is sacking the quarterback. So yeah, our O-line guys all get to rotate in on defense. None of those guys just play offensive line.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Got it. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Jason?
Well, like I said before, we have to have 5 days of tryouts. So
what do you mean? So, that's like mandated by the school?
Mandated by the county.
Oh, wow.
For football for middle school, yeah. So what I do is I've broken it up where I'll do a test a day so that it keeps them coming every single day. So, for example, like day 1 might be everyone does the 40 and they get timed on it. Like Coach Fitzgerald said, so you have that data right there. So you do have the parents come. And then after the first day, I'll have them, all their names on a sheet, and I will split them up into 3 groups based on their weight, try and separate them as much as I can. And then I will go through all the tests and time them on their weight class and based on that. But then also mixed in those practices, we will also do skill position drills, and that's where I give them the option. Say, you want to go to quarterback, this is where you go. If you want to go receiver, offense line, and needless to say, you see more kids going to those glamour positions, the wide receiver, the running back. But throughout the week, we keep putting the bug in their ear that I can't keep 20 running backs, can't keep 10 quarterbacks. So you need to make the decision that's going to give you the best opportunity to make the team. Okay, and then we also constantly keep the bug in there saying, well, you could be the number 6 running back on the depth chart, or you could be the number 1 guard and play every single snap. So these are the things that you got to think about while you're going through these drills. What do you think you can do to better make the team and better after you make the team? How do you help the team? What's your best opportunity to help the team? So we kind of say, we kind of hint at, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, but for the most part, we let them make their own decision throughout the entire week. And and at the end of the week, we do have to make cuts. So
you do. How many do you usually cut?
Well, luckily last year was the first year I did not have to make cuts. Actually, that was the first year, but usually it's anywhere from around 15 to 20. The most we've ever had to cut was we had to cut about 35 one year.
Awesome. Wow. That's a lot. Like that's what we had over last year. Yeah. But we just made a second team, and we found a second league for them to play in. Well, we were going to. We found a non-competitive league because it was basically all the cuts. So they could just continue to learn and get better and get ready for high school. Real quick, let's take a second. Mark Stamper just joined us. What's up, Mark? You've been chiming in all day on the chat. How are you, sir?
Yeah, just fine. I appreciate your guys' input. I'd be interested to know what you guys do for tradition, if any. I'll give you a couple examples of things I've done, and I stole them both. One of them was we got chain links and put them on our cleats on our shoe where your shoestrings are, and down towards the top of your shoestring, those kind that you can screw and adjust. And we had I used to work at a powder coating factory, so we powder coated them color. Nice. And it represents we're all chained together. And so you have your chain link on you at all times. And that's why we did that. But the other thing was a motivational thing. And this is no lie. We went to a meat locker, got a cow leg, and we cooked it off. And and I took a pneumatic tool, wire wheel, and got the meat off of it, soaked it in bleach. We painted it, and that's the bone. And the bone, a bone hits different than a regular good tackle. It's one of them that make you go, ooh.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, we even get this thing out in practice some nights, and it's like piranhas. Because if you get a bone hit, you get to write your number on the bone. The kid with the most numbers on the bone at the end of the year gets the bone.
Oh, I'm taking that.
I'm telling you, it'll rise everybody up. And sometimes, when you're coaching youth, it may not be a true bone hit, but if the coaches get excited, we're running Oklahoma or something. Yeah, that was a bone hit, and I'm just telling you, and that thing looks like a dinosaur bone. I mean, it's huge. And I'm just telling you, I don't know if you guys have ever used anything like that. Our high school team, they did it for like special teams. And that's where we got the idea. But we used it in a different sense for motivate kids to hit because we weren't that physical.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you guys if there's anything you guys do that might be special.
I love that idea.
I love the bone. I love that.
Yeah.
I will probably go about getting that bone a different way than what you described because I'm just not.
I'll tell you what.
No pneumatic tools for you, Matt.
where I live, it's the orthopedic capital of the world, they say. But
right?
This one orthopedic company has like skeleton bones that they're not really bones. They're like plastic or something. But
Yeah.
that would work.
Yeah.
But I
I'll figure
actually
it out.
had one. I actually had one parent tell me, they said, "Man, my kid's still got that bone and it's in his trophy case and he
Heck yeah.
stinks."
Heck yeah. Hey, no, so I love that idea. And I really do think I'm going to steal it. I just the one thing that
it'll
we can
ratchet.
every time we get together as coaches, and usually half of us are new to each other, we're like, do you have the answer to how to make kids more aggressive? And there's no,
Mhm.
I have yet to hear, if we can solve that, we're all going to be sitting pretty somewhere nice. But that's a great idea.
Oh,
I
our
wanna-
defense coach would get the defense around and he'd have the bone in his hand. We put it on the bench so they know, they're aware of it. And I'm just telling you, it'll ratchet things up for you. And like I said, bust it out and practice some night, bone
Yeah.
night. And
Great.
we'll write guys, whoever's got their number on it the most at the end of the year, if you have an awards banquet,
Yep.
that's when you deliver the bone to the kid. I just thought I'd pass
my
that on.
kids, I'll tell you what, my kids love helmet stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We did something last year where, so every practice, I would pick one of my best friends I'd coach with. He would pick one, and I'd pick a kid, and they would get the sticker for that day. It was kind of like a little flame.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we would and the kid, you take it off the kid that had it before, and you put it on the new kid. And so Tuesday there would be 2 that were picked, and then Thursday there'd be 2 that were picked. If you won it Thursday, you wore it during the game. And I'll tell you, these kids, something about wearing that sticker during the game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They get fired up about it. They're like, "Oh, I got
Oh.
the sticker going into the game. Like, I got the sticker. I'm gonna get that sack." You know what I mean? Like, so we do a lot with stickers. I'm this year, I think, want to do a bigger sticker, almost like thinking about even doing something across the top where it's real prominent. And that way, if somebody asks, I want somebody to ask the kid about it. Hey, what's with your helmet? No, none of the other kids. Oh, I earned that. I got that on Thursday.
Right.
I'm gonna show you today.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
We
I've shared.
Well,
That's a good one.
Coach Lasker, I just want to thank you for all you do for football and all you guys. You're in it for the right reasons, and I love tuning into your channel and listening to all your talks. And I just want to let you know I appreciate what you guys do, and I'll get out of your hair.
No, man. Well, thank you for coming in. That's a great question. We're going to go around the horn after you bounce and go through, because I love that idea. I've shared our brick idea before, but I'll share it again in case anyone missed that one. But thank you, Mark, for being such a big piece of this. You're constantly, throwing out comments and questions on everything that we're doing. So we appreciate you being a big part of this community. And yeah, man, hopefully we could all help all the youth coaches out together. And thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring Coach Thompson in, but I do want to go around the horn. If anybody else has any other good ideas like that, that they do for motivation, I'll just say ours real quickly. I said it when we had our O-line group meet with Dular and those guys a month ago or so. But essentially what they used to do at Nevada is give the linemen real bricks and put like actual plaques on it and put their name and the date of the game where they were the big blocker award, basically when they had the best blocking game of anybody. Obviously in our world, we don't have the money to do that. So my wife's a preschool teacher. At some point I saw that she had these cardboard foldable blocks that you can, buy a whole rack of them and just fold them up. And so we give out big blocker award, the bricks, after a big block of any sort, not just after one game, but we'll put the time and the date and all that stuff on there so they can accumulate the bricks at home and stack them in their room. Just motivational stuff. And, we'll hand them out after the game if we have them at the game, or we'll hand them out in a film the next week when we're meeting as a team. But it's fun to hand those out because it's not like MVP, right? It's you blocked your ass off and you were recognized for it. So that's our way to motivate O linemen, and I think O linemen deserve a little bit more. Coach Dular does ATM shirts that just at the beginning of the season, if you're O lineman, and we're going to do this year throughout our whole program. I stole this. We've already got the shirts ordered every level. If you're a lineman, you get an ATM shirt right away. No one else gets the shirts. You're a part of that brotherhood, and we really want to find a way to make O-line a special thing as these kids kind of rush the program. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Anybody else have anything cool motivational tactics?
Yeah, we so I actually just pulled it out. We got like a little chain that we give to the kids.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's like a little Piedmont chain.
Whoa! Buccaneers? Are we talking Tampa Bay Bucks here?
No, we're the Pirates, man. So we just stole the
oh man, that's my squad. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's my team. I'm sorry.
But no, what we typically do, we try to take a picture of any of the kids that's got something, they did something well in the game and anything of that sort. Then I'll print it off and then we'll post it in our locker room. But the biggest thing is, like Coach said, I'll make sure that the offensive linemen and those guys up front, they get the first dibs on taking pictures or anything of that sort, because you want to make sure that they are those unsung heroes. And for me, they know that's near and dear to my heart, because I coach the offensive line. So I just make sure that they try to, we give them any kind of notoriety as possible. And then they even have a sledgehammer that we just got from Lowe's. We just painted it up, and we just have one designated lineman who brings it to the game, every single week. So that's just been a cool little thing we'll do for them. But then, everybody else takes pictures, and the kids like the social media thing, so we'll post it on Instagram and all that other good stuff, and that's been a huge motivator for those guys.
Social media is smart. That's where you really get those guys motivated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. If you can make it cool on social media to be whatever, linemen especially, then, you're just giving these kids the ammo they need to, in some cases, defend themselves. I mean, I was surprised how petty some of these 8th grade kids are. I guess I forgot what it was like to be an 8th grader, but man, these kids are vicious to each other. And the more we can help the less glamorous positions feel cool or seem cool in whatever way. I mean, we know they're actually cool. Like, gosh, the left tackle is what? The 3rd highest paid position of all the sports.
Highest paid, yeah.
For a reason. I mean, it's exactly like they don't get that kind of stuff yet, but we can make it cool. Anybody else got anything to add to that topic? All right. Well, fellas, I think, we're an hour and a half in. I think this was a nice little test run for the call-in. I want to keep that going. I'm up for doing this every week. If you guys are, I'm more than happy to host. I think this is fun. This format, we can really pivot and talk about anything that's really driving the conversation. I'm not saying we can't formally get in and continue to go through the youth football program that we were starting to build at one time, but I think this is a nice way to get all the questions that are out in the audience answered. And then, man, I just off the cusp, I learned like 3 or 4 things tonight that I could be doing different and better. So thank you guys for joining the call tonight on the panel. Appreciate you guys all being on here. Appreciate all you guys out there in YouTube land for listening. Open floor, guys. Anything to say, add, talk about next time, whatever.
Just keeping our fingers crossed, hoping we're having a season. That's all I'm hoping and praying.
That's it.
Amen.
No doubt.
All right. Well, everyone, keep your heads up. I mean, we'll make the best of it either way. Like I said, if you're playing and we're not, we're going to be all over you guys for our entertainment for the season. So really appreciate you guys. And so we'll get back after it next Monday for sure on the show. And in the meantime, let's just get on Facebook. I'm going to be back. I apologize, everyone out there. I know there's a bunch of messages waiting for me on the website, so I'm going to start answering those again starting tomorrow. Apologize for me being so MIA. I had to get my mind right after getting canceled, so we'll get back out of it.
Understood.
Okay, so
thanks, Coach.
All right, fellas. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach. Thanks, guys.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Fellas.
All right. Bye.